All right, Fintech South. Welcome to the third day, and welcome to the tracks that UI is actually sponsoring. I'm Rodrigo Dantas. I'm a principal with UI, currently serving as the Americas Payments Leader based out of here in Atlanta. Very proud to be here in this conference with you. And I wanted to share with you what we're going to be seeing here today on our sponsored tracks. When we were deciding which tracks to sponsor, we wanted to do something that really could bring things that matter, things that matter to our real life. So, and then we decided to go with retail and commerce in the morning and payments innovation in the afternoon. So think about it. Everything we do every day, you have relations with those type of things. Retail, commerce, and payments. It goes all together. It affects our lives every day. And even during this pandemic, this became even more obvious. So many relevant things going on here, and you have a great panel. Great panels, actually, many of them. But I wanted to highlight another component of also things that really matter to our real life. And we are in a fintech conference, right? And so this is an entrepreneurial environment. And so entrepreneurship is something that UI is very committed to and has been for a long time. You might be familiar with the Entrepreneur of the Year award that's been on the road for more than 34 years already, all over the world, more than 50 countries involved, huge importance. Many of the winners of in the previous years are participating here in this FinTech South conference and today, or have participated in the past. And that's part of the way we at EY want to build a better working world, which is our purpose. It's really through a strong engagement with the entrepreneurial community. So 12 years ago, we decided to go one step further on helping to accelerate the bridge the gender gap on entrepreneurial world. So we developed the Winning Women initiative. That was a program focused on businesses owned by women, and creating the program to help develop and boost the power of those businesses. So we're here today, 2020, and we couldn't be doing a different thing than launching a new program that's called Entrepreneurial Access Network. And that program is part of our broader initiatives on the fight against racism. So the Entrepreneurial Access Network program is targeted to Black and Latinx-owned companies. And it's a program to help develop these companies through creating an ecosystem of networking, supporting with resources and proven professionals and a library of resources, also preparing these companies to have a networking of suppliers and customers, and then access to capital, actually. All of that targeted to Black and Latinx-owned companies. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you're Black and Latinx, please go there, check it out, apply for it. If you go to the the FinTech South homepage, you'll see on the left-hand side exhibitors. You click there, you click on the logo of UI, you will go to the UI virtual booth. Company resources, there's the link for Entrepreneur Access Network there. Go check it out. That's the explanation on what it is, how to apply, how to gather. So go, please check it out. Another component of very relevance of relevance to our days, and really tied to what it is to be an entrepreneur. So with that, I want to get back to what are we going to be seeing here today on the retail and commerce track this morning. In order to do that, Bill, please tee up that video that tells us a little bit about how things are performing on our daily life. I'll be back to share with you the morning.
Just even the term radical growth is something that can scare people.
I think the scary part is, like, what's the thing we haven't thought of yet?
Fear can be a good motivator. It can get people actively aware and aggressive about looking at their future, but it can also create paralysis.
The challenge is seeing where the opportunity is and innovating faster than everybody else.
First of all, we have to be built for change.
One of the biggest challenges I have in running large business is trying to manage the existing cash flow and quarterly responsibilities that we feel, plus trying to make the investments necessary to anticipate where things are going.
It's not an easy equation because you got to keep the lights on and you've got to keep a core business running while you're thinking about the possible disruptors or disruption that's coming your way.
And you have to start to ask the fundamental questions again.
Get out of your office, get out of your headquarters, get into a space where you're with such strikingly different people and in stunningly different places where you're going to end up being so wrong and uncomfortable and forced to be quiet that a new question is going to pop out of nowhere. Boom!
It's really essential that an organization or a company sees itself as part of a wider ecosystem, that a lot of capability sits outside of their immediate organization. So people are no longer just looking vertically, but are in fact looking across the whole context in which they operate.
I love the idea of a dual strategy where you accept the idea that you have to run the business for current performance and meet your objectives of the business as it exists, but you always have to be aware that the business is evolving into something else if it wants to stay current or lead its market.
Enterprises everywhere are looking for help on how to enable, how to accelerate, how to become more digital, whatever that even means.
Because things are moving so much faster, if we get ourselves in that mindset of acceleration, I think the other question is, how do we balance the present and the future?
Separation of incremental innovation and radical innovation is really important, where the business units need to focus on innovations that are close to the core, that are adjacent. That's their responsibility. But for the most part, the traditional business units need to focus on the short-term profitability of the business that's going to produce revenue for us today.
Set aside a group of people with different priorities, different incentives, frankly, different type of skills, and let them play with disruptive technologies while most of your business units and most of your country teams and your brand managers are focusing on iterating on the current business.
That separation is important, different mindset, but also different talent. So bringing in people from the outside to help move those ideas forward in different ways using different methodologies has been very helpful.
Successful organizations learn both from top down and from down up.
Who you are and who you want to be can contort a bit and change and morph and evolve while still being true to the core business and the core brand.
All right. So this video was produced in 2017. And you can see that many of those themes are actually all of those themes are still very relevant. And many of those became amazingly important during this last 6 to 8 months that we've been facing all the pandemic that's transforming our lives. So and the panels that we're going to have today are going to be touching many of those dimensions. So we'll have a panel talking about how omni-channel commerce is transforming traditional industries, and you will be that right away with Jordan and Scott from Fiserv, Jordan from Bloomberg. But after then, we'll have how the pandemic is shaping the future of commerce. Then you have another panel about cross-border payments and how local payments methods are on the rise. Then you have merchants' perspective on payments, what's changed, what hasn't changed, and what should change. And then have the retailer's guide to digital transformation. All of that, obviously, you have in your schedule, you can see it. But without further ado, I really want us to get kicked off. And let's go for the first panel, how omni-channel commerce is transforming traditional industry. We'll have Jordan Hallman from Bloomberg, interviewing Scott Mackay from Fiserv. Guys, go ahead. Good luck. Enjoy the day. It's going to be fantastic.